than large. She watched the sky darken. There was a line of ashes up above, a sprinkling of chimney soot. Perhaps her father was up there, watching over her. Perhaps he was knocking on his casket, begging to be let out. Or maybe he was here with her still, in her heart, making it difficult for her to breathe whenever she thought about her life without him. Arlie felt her aloneness inside her, but she was hopeful too. The past was done with. Now she was made out of glass, transparent and clear. She was an instant in time. One damp evening, 2 stars in the sky, a line of soot, a chattering gathering of neighbors who barely knew her in the dining room. She had convinced herself that her future would arrive on the street where she'd lived her whole life, if only she'd wait long enough, if she trusted in fate. In the living room, people spoke about Arlyn as though she had died right along with her father. She wasn't a pretty girl, after all, just plain and freckly. She had a high school diploma, and as far as anyone could tell, no particular skills. One summer she'd worked in an ice cream shop, and in high school she'd had a dog washing service, shampooing basset hounds and poodles in the kitchen sink. An ordinary girl, all alone in a house where the roof might blow off in the next big storm. People felt pity, but as everyone knew, that wasn't an emotion that lasted long. A low horn sounded as the ferry came across the water from Bridgeport. The fact that there would be fog tonight was discussed as the women cleaned up, wiping off the table, putting away the pound cakes and the casseroles before going out to the porch to say goodnight to Arlyn. It was a heavy, salt-laced fog that had settled, the kind that circled lampposts and street signs and made folks lose their way. A damp, soft night. The neighbors assumed that once they'd left, Arlyn would go inside her empty house. Surely she would walk along the hall where her father's coat still hung on the rack, then take the flight of stairs the captain hadn't been able to manage for the past 6 months. She would edge past his silent room. No more coughing all night long. No more calls for water. But Arlyn stayed where she was. She was so cold her skin felt like ice. Still, she remained on the porch. Her father had said to prepare for the future, and Arlyn was ready and willing. Her destiny was sure to come to her in her darkest hour. That was now, this damp, sad night. It took some time, but after 3 hours, Arlie's faith was rewarded. By then the fog had turned to a light rain, and the streets smelled like fish. A car stopped. There was a young man inside, lost, on his way to a party. When he got out to ask directions, Arlyn noticed he was taller than her father. She liked tall men. His hair was combed back. He had beautiful pale eyes, a cool gray color. As he approached, he shouted, "Hello!" His voice was not what she expected, flat and nasal. That didn't matter. Anything could happen now. Arlyn took a step back in order to study him. Perhaps the young man thought she was afraid, a stranger stopping to talk to her in a banged-up old Saab his dad had given him. He could have been anyone, after all. A murderer, an ex-con, a man who would rip the heart from her chest. "I'm lost," the young man explained. Usually he would have kept on driving. He had never in his life stopped to ask for directions. But he was late, and he was the sort of person who was usually on time. Veering from punctuality made him anxious. It made him do stupid things. For instance, he had circled around this particular block twice. Before leaving, he'd forgotten to check to make sure his gas tank was full, and now he worried that he wouldn't be able to find a service station before he ran out. The young man's name was John Moody, and he was a senior at Yale studying architecture. He recognized Arlie's father's house as an Italianate workers' cottage, built, he would guess, in the 1860s, common in these North Shore towns on Long Island. Not kept up, of course. The roof looked like flypaper, the shingles were badly in need of paint, but charming in a run-down way, just as the girl with the long red hair was charming, despite her dreadful clothes and the freckles scattered across her pale skin. Arlyn was wearing an overcoat, though it was April. "You're freezing," John Moody said. Arlyn took this as concern rather than mere statement of fact. The truth was, she was shivering in the cold light of her future, the light that had been cast by this tall young man who had no idea where he was. Arlyn felt faint, fluttery, really. Her whole life had been spent in a cocoon. She had been waiting for this hanging globe of an evening.